Good morning! Good morning, you guys. We are on our way to the, almost at post office, but I'm not sending you that way. We're going to the airport. My mom is flying back today. Yes, we already cried once, maybe a couple times, but we thought it would be fun to do a little Q&A for you guys, like a mother-daughter CF type of Q&A. And of course, Ollie's right there. And so here are a couple of our question and answers that we answered. Ready, set, go.
Don't you think we're better together? Oh, I think
We thought it would be fun to just kind of like relive some memories. And I thought it would be funny if I asked my mom an embarrassing mom moment where, well, I'll just let her tell the story. So paint them the picture.
Well, I probably have more than one. But the first one that came to mind was, I don't know, how old would you guess you were? 8 or 7, 8, maybe, something like that, at the CF clinic. New doctor, one, you know, kind of...
Maybe like a resident or something?
Yeah, there for a month or so, and then moving on to another department. And she was asking, Mary hadn't been feeling great, struggling a bit. And she was asking how, you know, well, tell me, how do you feel? How do your lungs feel? And the description of how what she came up with was that it felt like she had garbanzo beans in her lungs, and it had like, what did you say, knucker hole pops or something extremely descriptive in your 7-year-old mind.
I'm so
but
sorry.
a little embarrassing
Because
as the doctor listened and looked at me, and I just shook my head, yeah, like that.
yeah, that's how she's feeling.
Exactly.
Well, it made... Oh, good job. It made complete sense in my mind. I remember this very clearly. I also remember the confused look on the doctor's face. But it felt like from Dragon Tales, the knucker hole, and then it felt like a garbanzo bean was popping out of it, because it was like, it was that painful, like, popping thing. Well,
so it very descriptive and perfect, but maybe caused a little confusion.
Yes, could be. Well, I'm sure that those moments still happen, because sometimes I try to be as descriptive as possible when the doctors ask those kind of questions. So I'm sure Peter every once in a while is like making that same like, whatever.
Like when you describe to your doctor how your energy level is by how much shopping you've done.
Yes, exactly. Well, and then I have an embarrassing mom moment, but not when you embarrassed me, when I was trying to embarrass you. So Rachel and I, you know, we always had CF clinic. We, you know, mom scheduled them basically back to back so that we could just go once and then we'd both be seen. So we were all three there, and I remember distinctly being in the elevator, and Rachel and I were trying to make mom laugh. There were other people in the elevator. We had no sense of embarrassment. We were like, oh, we'll just make her laugh. It'll be great.
It was quiet.
Oh, it was awkward.
Was full.
And we started like, here, can you hold this for a second? We started putting our hands out like this and making like what we thought looked like a dog face, like this. And mom was like, she probably cleared her throat a couple times, like, hello, stop it, you're weird.
But then you got me laughing.
Oh, it worked.
Yes, and I could hardly, you know, one of those, like, when you start laughing in church and you shouldn't.
Yes, I know that feeling.
Yeah, me too.
So that's my, like, I conquered that and made her laugh. But, so those were our embarrassing moments. And then, oh, somebody asked, because I went on Instagram and asked for questions, somebody asked, who's crazier, you or your mom? But where do I get it? From Dad?
I'm sure Dad had a little something to do with it too.
Well, yeah.
You came by it honestly, but I would say you're a little crazier than me.
Well, maybe.
I mean,
I do that crazy thing. I put those videos up on the internet.
Every day, yes.
Okay, maybe I'm the craziest.
You're the craziest.
Okay, let's see what else. Biggest challenge, and we're gonna take that question as like biggest challenge for us.
Okay.
And I think what instantly came to my mind was when I moved to Chicago for undergrad.
Yeah. Yeah, that would definitely have been. I mean, I feel like we're in a big one now.
Well, that's true.
But that was definitely a big one as a parent.
Right.
You know, trusting. Well, that was a time of learning that. Though I felt like I was always the one taking care of you. In reality, I was just the hands at the time. But
yeah,
God,
that's true.
is ultimately was using me for that time, and He had other ways of caring for you, even if I weren't there in person.
Yeah, and it was that challenge of figuring out. It was the week I turned 17. My parents drove me to Chicago. 18, thank you. The week I turned 18, so like 2 days after I turned 18, we loaded up a minivan and drove to Chicago. And I was on IV antibiotics at the time. So for my parents to be like, okay, we're sending her off, and one, trusting that I'm gonna take care of myself, and two, figuring out, you know, my new CF care, like.
Well, you had proven yourself to be very responsible with your own care, and you had, I really can't say that we were concerned about that.
That's good.
Yeah, you
That's
were very,
true.
very faithful, and you had done a lot of research and had taken so much into your hands before you even got to that point.
That's true.
You wanted to access your own port, you know.
Did you think I
draw
was crazy
your own
for
blood?
that? Yes. So
no, I just could sense that really strong need to be independent and to be self. Well, I don't know what's the term I'm thinking of.
Well,
to be able to do things for yourself, to be in charge of your care.
Yeah. And I remember feeling kind of like it was exhilarating in sort of like a weird way, because I was like, okay, I've got to do this. Like, okay, we've got to do this. Here I go. But I also remember the fear in it, because I remember I had to go get lab work. I went on campus to the on campus. That did not go well. But I had to figure it out. We had to make it work, and I had to do it on my own, which was a good thing ultimately. And I did press forward, and I did figure it out. But my parents were always available for when I was totally overwhelmed and needed to call crying or whatever. And I remember when you dropped me off at college, under my bed we had my enzymes, and you had kind of put them the ones that are going to expire first toward the front. You had set me up for success. So
I remember we did try to send you with 3 months worth.
That's right.
Of everything you need.
3 months, and then when I got home for Thanksgiving, you'd stock me up again. So it was that gradual teamwork of figuring out how's this going to work. And then eventually, fast forward, I finished my time in college and then ultimately moved to Boston right after that. So it was that natural progression of figuring it out, but figuring out the health pieces and all of that. And that's how life is. You learn as you go. There's no manual. There was no manual for my parents, and I totally, I don't have a child with a disease, so I can't imagine what it was like to send your baby away, but they trusted God with it, and they helped me figure out the steps I needed to do, and we cried a lot. And we still do, right before we got in the car. I mean, and that continues to be a challenge for us, being far away. Yes, we've been doing it for the last 11 years. I've been far away for a lot of years now, but it continues to be a challenge, and so we take it whatever each chapter comes. And what was that last question? It was like, your favorite, let me read it. Favorite thing we have in common, and it's just our friendship. That's how I would say it. Like,
well, what do we have in common? I think we have in common kind of the same general outlook and personality in many ways.
Yeah, I totally agree. Which has that thing we have in common, which is not only
silly.
Yes, we're silly, and we're willing to make a long distance friendship work. Friendship and mother-daughtership, and we love being together, even if it's only for one day. Like, I remember one time I flew in to Baltimore and she drove up, and we literally had like one day together, but we made the most of it. We still have tons of memories from that trip. And we
remember when Wesley was born? We had about 12 hours together.
That's right. When we drove up after my nephew was born. That's right. And that's what I love. We can make the most of the times we have physically together, and we make the most of our long distance friendship as well. And it also makes us cry. And
don't you start. Okay.
So that's what we love. We love being together, whether that's organizing, what did I say? Piles of medical madness, or doing a puzzle together, which Mom was like, you're the only person who will do a puzzle with me. So that's what we love, and we just love being together. And that's my mama, and I love her. And thank you for doing this video with me.
You bet.
Everybody give my mom a thumbs up. So there you go. There's our little Q&A. We did our best, and as always, we will see you tomorrow. Good night. And of course, hey Bonesy, can you say good night? Good night, everybody.